feels like a lifetime ago, but think back to March 8th. Your alarm went off at its usual time, but it was not time as usual. Maybe you felt groggy or tired for the rest of the day and didn't know why. But even if you didn't realize it, you had lost an hour of sleep. For everyone in this country, this is just a fact of life we've come to accept. We spring forward in the spring, we fall back in the fall, changing our clocks and our sleeping schedules twice every year, thinking nothing of it. But what if I told you that daylight saving time is not only annoying, but is an antiquated practice that wastes energy and could be slowly killing us as well? Changing our clocks no longer fixes the problem it was intended to solve and imposes three unnecessary costs, namely financial or economic, medical, and social, on all of us. Today, I will prove why it is long past due for the United States government to amend the Standard Time Act and enforce a uniform standard time across the entire nation. We know the annual ritual of springing forward and falling back, but a lesser known fact is that daylight saving time was actually a policy designed to conserve energy. As recently as 2005, congressional debate surrounding daylight saving time was focused on the potential energy savings, with some politicians arguing that for every additional day of daylight saving time, we could save the equivalent of 100,000 barrels of oil in energy. Despite these claims, a natural experiment conducted in Indiana by the president and fellows of Harvard College and Massachusetts Institute of Technology showed that, contrary to the policy's intent, daylight saving time increased electricity demand. The findings are consistent with simulation results that identify a trade-off between reducing demand for lighting and increasing demand for cooling and heating. And therein lies the problem with this outdated practice. As technology has become more efficient, with inventions such as LED light bulbs, the main source of energy consumption in our home has shifted away from artificial lighting to heating and cooling, especially as more and more people have moved south and west in the 19th and 20th centuries. The experiment estimates a cost to Indiana households of $9 million per year in increased electricity bills and social costs of increased pollution between $1.7 million and $5.5 million per year. And the costs don't stop there. Traditionally, there's been some support among small businesses for daylight saving time because they argued that an extra hour at the end of the day would translate to an extra hour of consumer spending. But for my second point, I'll prove that the economic benefits of daylight saving time are grossly misrepresented by this belief. In a 2015 study on debit and credit card transactions conducted by JP Morgan Chase Bank in the cities of Phoenix and Los Angeles, with Phoenix following year-round standard time and Los Angeles following daylight saving time, the study found that the end of daylight saving time reduces daily card spending per capita by 3.5%, with spending on goods such as groceries being particularly affected, losing almost 6% of daily retail per capita spent relative to Phoenix. Simply put, the magnitude of spending reduction at the end of daylight saving time far outweighs any increase in spending that happens at the beginning of daylight saving time. Now that we've seen the proof that daylight saving time increases our electricity consumption and harms our economy, it's time to take a look at what could be the biggest cost of all, our health. While you might not think much of it, of losing or gaining 1 hour of sleep 2 times a year, your body is undoubtedly paying a price that you're probably not even aware of. For my third point, I'll prove that daylight saving time has not only harmed our economy and increased our electrical consumption, but has imposed several unintended consequences on our health. In the largest study ever conducted on the effect of daylight saving time on the circadian rhythm of the human body. The National Institute of Health found that the timing of sleep on free days follows the seasonal progression of dawn under standard time, but not under daylight saving time. Our data indicate that the human circadian system does not adjust to daylight saving time, and that its seasonal adaptation to the changing photoperiods is disrupted by the introduction of summertime. Even worse, not only is our sleep adversely affected by daylight saving time, but it also is connected to an increase in the risk of stroke. According to the American Academy of Neurology, researchers found that the overall rate of stroke was 8% higher in the 2 days immediately following a daylight saving time transition. People with cancer were 25% more likely to have a stroke after this daylight saving time transition than any other period during the year. And the risk was also higher for those who were over the age of 65, who experienced a 25% increase to have a stroke right after the transition as well. Similar studies are underway exploring the possible relationship between daylight saving time and other ailments such as heart attacks and seasonal depression, and early results show that there could be a similar increase in risk due to daylight saving time as well. In any case, the cost to our health due to this antiquated practice is a cost that we could no longer afford to ignore. In light of modern science and medicine, it is clear that daylight saving time has failed in its promise not only to conserve our energy, but has inadvertently negatively impacted our health and our economy. There is only one logical solution, and that is the abolition of daylight saving time and the nationwide adoption of a uniform standard time. Under this new policy, states who currently follow daylight saving time would fall back in November, as usual, and then never change their clocks again. This is a tried and true strategy in Arizona, which has not observed daylight saving time since 1967, in large part because Phoenix and Tucson are two of the hottest metropolitan areas in the United States, which results in more electricity consumption from air conditioning units in homes and businesses than almost anywhere else. If the studies haven't convinced you, picture this. Imagine your electricity savings in the summer when you no longer have to run your air conditioning unit on full blast until 9 p.m. at night because it's still 98 degrees outside. Imagine never having to fiddle with the clock on your oven or in your car because it's off by an hour for 34 weeks of the year. Imagine never having to go to work or school in the dark because the sun doesn't rise until 8:30 in the morning. Imagine not being grouchy and irritable for an entire week because you lost an hour of sleep that you'll never get back. This is your new life under my proposal of uniform standard time, and with your support, I'll show you how it could be coming a lot sooner than you may think. As of 2020, 36 states have already introduced legislation to make the permanent switch to standard time. As residents of Texas, our legislature doesn't meet until next year in the summer of 2021, but it's crucial for us to voice our support now so that we can build momentum heading into the next congressional session, and we can put an end to the unnecessary costs that are being put on our health, economy, and energy consumption. The majority of changes that happen at the federal level began at the state level, and so I urge all of you to contact your state or local representative and voice your support for the permanent switch to standard time, for your health and for the health of this great nation. Thank you.